Hello everyone, myself I am Uma and I have overall 8 plus years of IT experience as a data analyst and 4 years of experience as a corporate trainer. I am a Microsoft certified data analyst currently working at Microsoft. Hi everyone, welcome to KSR Datavizon YouTube channel. In today's session, we will try to learn about few DAX functions with respect to time related functions. Okay. So let me walk you through the data. This is the data which I have loaded. So here you have some information about the bike related data. You have different regions, different countries and different customers and business segment, categories, which model of the bike, which color it is and what is the sales day and list price, unit price and order quantity. Okay. So these are the columns you have and now let's try to create some functions, learn few DAX functions. Okay. So from today we will be creating one playlist. Regularly we will be updating all the DAX functions in that playlist. Okay. So now let's get started with this. So this is our table. Now first thing, if you go to this data, right, I have some list price, unit price, order quantity, but the important thing which I wanted is my sales. What is my sales? What is my cost? What is the profit? Those information I'm not having here. So let me try to create that. Okay. So for the first time, I'm going and trying to create one new column. Okay. So in this column, I'll try to create the sales column. So for that, how you will get the sales column when you multiply this order quantity with your list price. Okay, so I'm just directly typing this list price into order quantity. And if I click on enter, I will automatically get this sales value. Okay, so sales column I'm getting. In the same way, I also want to create one cost column. What was the cost means unit price of that particular bike as well as order quantity. So again, I'll try to create one more new column. So this is my cost column. In this column, I'm trying to multiply this unit price into order quantity column. Okay, directly I'm trying to multiply this. So both the columns I got. Now if I want the profit, I can also create that column. So I am going with the new profit equal to sales minus cost. Okay, so this is your sales column, cost column, profit column. These three are the columns which we created. We have written the logic. For the sales column, we have created that logic, right? List price into order quantity. Similarly, for the cost column, we have created the logic unit price into order quantity, and for the profit, it is sales column minus cost column. This will give the profit. Okay, so these all are the columns, basically the calculated columns which are created in this table, whatever the data we have loaded by its data. Now in this table it has created. Okay, now without even creating this as a columns, I can even create as a measure for this. I can also create a measure directly using the measure. I can create this. Okay, so let's see how I can create using the measures. Now I'll take this table and I'll try to create one new measure. So that is my sales value. So I'm using some function called SUMX function, assuming that now I don't have this sales column, I don't have this profit column, I don't have the cost column. Three columns I don't have. Only with the existing columns, how can I create the sales column?
So I will use this function X function, which is a SUMX function. In this I will try to pass the table name. It is clearly giving me what does this table does, this function does, and what are the parameters I need to pass here. So the table will be my table name, and then I can give the expression. In the expression I can give for the sales, I can give that list price into order quantity column. Okay, this is the sales measure, right? So this is the sales. Okay, I can write it as a sales measure, and I'll enter this. So already for the column name I have given the same sales, so it is giving as a error. So what you can do, since already the same column name is there, I'll give this as a 1. Okay, sales 1 I am giving. So I'm using this SUMX function, and I'm trying to create this list price into order quantity. Okay, so now that is created for me. And now if I want the cost also, in the same way I can use that X functions, new measure, and I can write this cost. Since already cost column is there, I'm using cost 1. Okay, I'm giving the name like this, and same X function I can use, and I can give the syntax, table name, as well as that expression. So expression for the cost will be unit price. This is my unit price column into order quantity. Okay, so this is the measure. If you see, it will not be created in the table. Sales, cost, profit, these are all created in the table. For each row it is multiplying, and it is giving you the corresponding sales column and cost column, whereas the profit is nothing but sales minus cost. Okay, here you are getting that profit. Now if you see this sales one, cost one, nowhere you will see in the table. In your original table you are not seeing. That is the property of measure. Okay, directly when you drag and drop into your card, here you can see the value. Okay, so if I take this, I'm getting this sales. Okay, this is coming from the measure. This is coming from the measure. The same thing which is already I have created as a calculated column, that also you can cross verify. Both the values are same, but this sales one I have achieved using the measure, whereas this I have achieved using the column, calculated column I have created. Okay, now even for the profit also you can create using the measure. Now our sales measure is also created and cost measure is also created. In the same way, now if you want profit, I'll give profit 1 equal to same. You can use that. Already you have created a measure for sales and cost. You can directly use that sales measure minus cost measure. Okay, the same way now profit is also created. Now since these measures are there, you don't actually need your calculated columns no more. Okay, because already you are achieving that using measures, and using the measures is an optimized way because it doesn't occupy any memory. If you see all the 3 measures which I have created, you are not able to see them in the data set in the original table. So on the fly, dynamically, wherever you drag and drop those measures into the visual, automatically it will give the value. Okay, that is the property and the difference between the measure and the calculated column. Okay, now we will try to create some um, date functions. Okay, we will try to create some date functions. So before that, I would also like to create one total sales measure. Okay, wherever we want, we can use that measure. So we'll see how we can create one sum function, how to use the DAX function sum. So in this table, I can go to new measure, I'll take here total sales. Okay, so I'm using some sum function. In the sum function, I need to pass the column name. What is my total sales? Okay, here I'm trying to take the sales column which I have already created. I'm just showing you how you can create this total sales. Okay, the same thing we have already achieved. We have already achieved in the X function. SUMX function, we have already achieved that. That is sales one. Now using, if you have a column, then you can use sum function. So try to understand the difference between SUMX function and sum function. We have achieved this sales one using that SUMX function, right? Directly it has multiplied and overall it has summed. Each row wise it has performed that aggregation sum and it is giving me that sales value. Now in this total sales, what I am using, already the column I have created the sales column, that sales column I am using here. So either way you can use directly. If you want X function, you can use that X function when you don't have the sales column. If you have the sales column, you can go with this method too. That is, you can use this sum function. So I'm using this sum function and I am trying to create this total sales. Okay. So now if you take the total sales also, I'll take one card and I'll take this total sales. It will also give you the same value. Okay. So now my sales is created. If you see in this data set, right, you have a date column, that is your sales date, which will give you when the transaction has started, when the first date of your transaction, and every single transaction date on which the sales has been made, and last date also. Okay, you can sort in ascending descending, you can see the values. So when it has started, 2nd April 2020, and the last day, if you want to say, sort descending, 1st April 2023. Okay, now these dates I want to see on the card. All these dates I want to see on the card. I want to know what is my first transaction date and what is my last transaction date. So for that, again, I'll try to create one measure. Okay. So to create all the measures, right, instead of creating in the same table, I would like to create one separate table for all my measures. So what I'll do, under this, I'll go for a new table. Okay. Instead of this, I'll try to create under home, there is a table option, right? I will go with this table and here I'll give as measures table. Okay, measures underscore TB, measures table. So I'll load this. Inside this measures table, I'll try to create all my measures. Okay. So I'll select this. Already created measures also, if you want to move into the table, you can move that. Okay. So for example, the total sales value I'm having here, this total sales, if I want to move to the new table which I created now, I can just go and select this measures table. It will go to the new table. Okay. That is measures table. So in this measure table, I'll try to create all my new measures. So I'll create one more new measure, that is to know my first transaction date. So I'll just give first transaction. So for that, I will be using some function called FIRSTDATE function. So in the FIRSTDATE function, I will give the date column. It is only clearly telling me, right, what I need to provide. Returns first non-blank date. What you need to pass the parameter date column. That is also, it is providing me all the information, syntax as well as the description of the function, as well as what parameters I need to pass. Clearly it is telling me. So here my date column is sales date. From this I want to know the first date, so I'm just giving the first date. I'm just giving the date column and I'll click on enter. So I'll take one card now, and in this I'll try to show my first transaction date. Okay, so it is April 2nd 2020. Okay, the first transaction date it is showing me, and the time it is showing as 00. Date and time format it is showing me, no problem. So this measure, if you don't want in that format, if you only want in the date format, you can always go and choose here the format. Okay, it will just change the format of your date. In the same way, I also want to create one more, that is my last transaction date. I'll just select this. I'll try to create one more measure which will give me the last transaction date. Okay. I will just use the function last date, and I will pass the column name, that is my sales date, and I'll close this. So I will take one more measure now. I'm taking a card and I'm showing now the last transaction date. Okay, so both my first transaction date and last transaction date I'm able to see here. This also, if you don't want in the time format, you can go with the short date. Okay, so both the information I'm getting now, first transaction and last transaction. Now for all the date related, right, I would like to create one new table for date related, just for measures how I created a new table. For the date related information, I'll create a new table so that I can apply some time intelligent functions on that. Okay, so for that what I'll do, I'll try to create one new table. Okay, so this is my new table. So first thing I'll tell you about this calendar auto function. So it's basically a table level function. Okay, so if I give this calendar auto, what it will do, it will try to understand our model, whatever the data sets we have taken, in that what is the date column, based on the date column automatically it will give the each unique date. Okay, right from the start date of the financial year and the end date of the financial year, whatever the years which we are using in the date column in our data set, based on that it will create one new table with the column having the first date from the financial year and the last date of the financial year for all the years which we are taking in the data set. Okay, so I'll try to click on enter. So now if you see here, calendar auto is a table which has been created. Now I'll go to this table, and if you see the calendar auto table, right from 1st Jan 2020. Okay, so our first transaction date starts from 2020 April 2nd, and the last transaction is in 4th April 1st 2023. But if you see in this calendar auto, what it is doing, it is creating from 1st Jan 2020, and the last date if you see here, it is still 2023 December 31st. Okay, so for every year from the start date till the end date, it is creating the unique date. Okay, financial year starting and ending, every single date it is creating. This is about your calendar auto, but I am going to create one function, one table for the date, that is using calendar function. So what exactly is that we will see now. I'll go for new table and I'll create the date table. Okay, date underscore TB I'm giving. So now I'll use something called calendar function, not calendar auto, calendar. So when you're using this calendar function, it is asking me two parameters, that is the start date and the end date. The start date will be the start date of your transaction and the end date will be your end date of your transaction, which is there in your data set. So for us, it's our sales date, right? So for this, how you will get the start date? The same way which you have created the measure, right? Either you can use the measure which you have already created, or you can also use the function again, like we have already used, right? Either you can use the same measure, first transaction date, or you can use this first date function, first date of your sales date. This is your first transaction date, start date basically. And for the end date, what you will use? Last date. Last date of sales date. So I'm closing for this last date function, and directly I will close this calendar function. So this parenthesis and this parenthesis is for calendar function. It's basically a table level function which will return you a table. Okay, which will have now all the dates starting from the first transaction date and till the end of this date, that is your last transaction date. That is what I have provided here. And now I'll click on enter. Now let's see what is created in your calendar table. Our calendar table, I have given the name as a date table, date underscore TB. If you see now the difference, it is starting from the first transaction date, and if you see at the end, the last transaction date you are seeing here. Okay, in between this, all the dates, every single date it is providing in your table. So this is the difference between calendar function. This we have implemented using calendar function, and for calendar auto we did not pass any parameters. So if you see the dates, it is from the first date of your transaction year, the physical year. Okay, so that is the difference between calendar function and the calendar auto function. Now the calendar function you have already created, right? This is your calendar function, and now you can see that date column is created, that is having all your unique dates, and even the date hierarchy also you can see here. I'll expand this one. In the date hierarchy you can see year, quarter, month and day. Okay, so this is about your calendar function. Now let's see how we can create some functions, okay, using this calendar table. Now what I will do, I'll take one. I'll try to format this page so that you can have a good view of the font. I'll go to view, I'll go here, and in the customize current theme, I'll go to the text and I'll try to increase this text. Okay, I'll make it 14. I'll click on apply. Now I'm coming to this page. Now I have one table. Okay, this is my table. Now I have to use year from this date table. Okay, uh, date, year and all I will be using from the date table I have created, and the sales I will be taking from this bike table. Okay, so two different tables, the data you're taking and you're trying to put in a single visual, so you have to do that modeling. Okay, I am coming to this data modeling part, and here I have to map this. Okay, so what is the common column between this bike table and calendar auto which we have created just now? That is your date column. So I'll just drag and drop this date to the sales date. If you see now, it is created as a one-to-many mapping. Why it's one-to-many? Because in the sales date, the same date is repeating again and again, because in one single date, there could be multiple transactions. So it's repeating here. Whereas in this calendar table, I can have only single dates. Okay. But I will use calendar table instead of calendar auto. Okay, for your understanding purpose I have created, it is giving me all the dates right from the physical period, start of the physical period and the end, right? So I don't want to map with this, so I will just go and delete this. Okay, and now I will try to map with our calendar function. With calendar function, whatever the table we have created, I'll try to map it with this. So I'll just take this date with this sales date, because this date column is having the start transaction date and every single date right from the start transaction till the end of the transaction, all dates we have. So I am going with this date underscore table. Okay, so I have done the mapping. Now what I will do, For each year from this table, date table, I am showing the total sales. For that also we have already created a measure. So I'll just take the total sales. I'm seeing the total sales. But for each year, along with the total sales, I also want to see the previous year sales. Okay. So for that, I'm going to create one measure. So what is that measure? We will see now. Okay. I'm just selecting this table, measures table, and now I'm going and clicking new measure. In that new measure, I want previous year sales. Okay. So for this, I am using the combination of two functions. That is, one is calculate function. So in that calculate function, what I am trying to calculate? The sales only, right? So I'll take that measure, total sales measure. And now for the current current sales, I want the previous year's sales. So for that, I will be using some function called previous year function. Okay, this is my previous year function. For this function also, what is the syntax? It's clearly giving me. Okay, it is asking me the date column. So what is my date column? I'll take from this date table. Now we have created one date table, right, which is having all the dates. So this date table, I'm trying to take this. Okay, just you have to give the function name previous year DAX function, and just you need to pass. Okay, the other one is a optional parameter, just you pass the date column, that's it. Okay, previous year function I have closed. Now I'm closing for this calculate function. I'll click on enter. Now I got my previous year sales. So this previous year sales also I'll drag and drop here. Now if you see here, for 2020, previous year sales is blank. Why you are seeing blank here? Because in our data set, the starting year is 2020. For the 2020 previous year sales means 2019 sales we should have. But in our data set, we don't have the year 2019. That is why it's blank. And coming to 2021, this is the current sales, 2021 sales. Whereas in the previous year sales, you are seeing this number. Okay. So how you are getting this value? You are getting from this 2020. This is your 2020 sales. Okay. You can cross check here. The 2020 sales you are getting here as a previous year sales for the year 2021. Coming to 2022, if you see, this is the 2022 year sales, and here whatever the sales you are seeing, it is the sales of 2021. Okay, this is about your previous year sales. Now current year sales you have and previous year sales you have. So how you will calculate the year on year growth percentage? Let's see how you can calculate that. Okay, now let me take one new board. I'll explain you here. Let's take 2021 sales is 10 USD. Okay, 10 US dollars. In 2022, the sales is 20 US dollars. Okay, means almost you can see 100% growth, right? 10 became 20 means it became double, almost 100% growth you are seeing. Okay, so this year on year growth percentage, how you will calculate? That is, for the 2022, how you will calculate the growth percentage? The current year, okay? Current sales minus previous year sales divided by previous year sales into 100. Okay, this is how you will calculate. Not only year on year, okay, month on month, if you take also same thing, it will be current sales minus previous month sales divided by previous month sales into 100. Okay, now what is the current sales? 20 minus previous year, how much it is? 10 divided by previous year sales, how much it is? 10 into 100. Okay, now 20 minus 10 is 10. 10 divided by 10 into 100. So this will get cancelled. So what is the growth percentage? It's 100%, isn't it? This is 100%. The same way now we will try to calculate for this years. So for this I am trying to create one more measure. Okay, previous year is done. I will go to the same table. I'll try to create one more measure. Here I'll try to give year on year growth percentage. Okay, so for this I'm trying to use one function called divide function. The same way which I have shown here, I have to perform, right? Numerator will be current sales minus previous year sales divided by previous year sales into 100. So for the performing this, I'm going and using some function called divide function. So in this, what is my numerator? Current sales is nothing but my total sales minus, I'll take the previous year sales. Total sales minus previous year sales. This is my numerator. And what is my denominator? My denominator is with respect to the previous year sales only, right? The current sales minus previous year sales divided by previous year sales. So my denominator will be previous year sales. Okay, and then I'll click on close. Either into 100 I can do it here itself, or I'll show you what else we can do for getting that in terms of percentage. Okay, just dividing I'm doing numerator value the same thing which I have explained here, that I'm trying to do using this divide function. This complete portion is your numerator, and in the denominator you are processing this previous year sales. Okay, and now I'll click on enter. So now this measure I'll try to get it. Year on year growth percentage also I'm trying to get on this visual. Now this value I wanted in terms of percentage. So I'm just clicking on this measure and I am trying to go and click on this percentage format. Now if you see, the value has been changed, isn't it? Okay. So 2020 this was the sales, and in 2021 the sales has been increased, right? It has been increased. So that is why you can see 71.1%. And coming to 2022, the sales, this is the previous year sales, but the current year sales, it has been decreased, right? 478 it is, here 535. So the sales has been decreased. So that is why you are seeing minus 10.54. And 2023, we don't have the complete year data, right? We have till the March only, April. So that is why if you take the 2022 year, the total sales you are seeing for the 12 months. For 2023, you are seeing only for 4 months. That's why the growth is less. Okay, that is what it is representing. Okay, so previous year sales you can calculate in this way, and year on year growth percentage you can calculate in this way. Okay, now let's see some other functions also. Same way we can also achieve some other measures, other functions, that is previous month sales. So for this previous month sales also, same way you can use the calculate function. What you want to calculate? You want to calculate the total sales with respect to previous month. Okay, previous month, here also you have to use the date table which you have created using the calendar function, that table date column. Okay, and I'm trying to close this previous month function as well as the calculate function. So now you got your previous month sales as well. Now that I'll try to show in a visual. So I'm going to take one more table here. In this table, I'll try to take the hierarchy. I'll take the complete date hierarchy I'm taking, and I will take the total sales. I am taking the total sales as well as my previous month sales. Okay. So for now, I will just remove the quarter. I will just remove the day. Year you can see and the month you are able to see. Okay. Now it is starting with April only, 2022 April only the transaction has started. So you don't have 2022, 2020 March data. That is why you are not able to see any value here. And 2020 May, this is the May sales. And whatever you are seeing here is the previous month sales, means previous month for May is April month. So April 2020 sales you are seeing here. Okay. And 20, let's take this value, 2020 December, this is the sales, 52 lakhs 94,252. This is the 2020 December sales. And why here you are seeing this 62 lakhs 50,000? This is the previous month sales. That means it is the November sales, 2020 November sales. The same sales you are seeing here. Okay. Now come back to the January. This is 2021 January sales, and here you are seeing this 52 lakh 94,000. What is this sales? It is nothing but your December sales. So previous month will give the previous month sales for every month. Okay. So this is the way you can achieve your previous month sales. Now month on month growth percentage, if you want to calculate the same way which you have calculated the year on year growth, right? Month on month also you can calculate. So what will be the change in the formula? In the previous year sales you have used this, right? In the year on year growth percentage you have used this. In the same way, if you want to calculate the month on month growth percentage, similar way only, you take your new measure. So I can write here month on month growth percentage. In that same divide function you will take the total sales. Instead of previous year sales you will take something called previous month sales, as well as the denominator also you will be dividing with previous month sales. Okay, and now I'll click on enter. Okay, this is your divide function, month on month growth percentage. So for this month on month growth percentage, this also I'll drag and drop here. Now you can see month on month whether your sales has been increased or decreased. This also I want in terms of percentage. So I'm selecting this measure and just I'm clicking here. I am clicking here percentage format. So here also you can see the growth in terms of percentage. Okay. So May month it was 11 lakh 39,000. If you see in the April month it was 11 lakh 39,000, but in the May month if you see it's 31 lakh 41,808. Means the month on month wise if you see it has increased to 175.75 percentage. Okay, so like that wherever there is an increase or wherever there is an decrease it is showing. Okay, June month if you take, the sales is less than the previous month, right? It is less than the previous month. So it is giving this month on month growth percentage as a negative value, means it has decreased. Positive value means it has increased. Negative means it has decreased. Okay. So this is about your month on month growth percentage. The same way you can also achieve for the quarter as well as day. Okay. Those functions also we have. So I'll quickly create that as well. I'll create one new measure. So this is for previous quarter. Same function you will use, calculate function, total sales as well as previous quarter. Okay, previous quarter sales. Here I will give the date table. I'm just giving that previous quarter function also, and now I'll close this. Okay, so previous quarter also you are getting. So how to see that previous quarter? You can just create one new table. In that, take the date column I am taking here, and I'm also taking this current sales as well as the previous quarter sales. Okay, now every year I just want to show only the quarter, not the other ones. So I'm just taking the quarter. Okay, also year I wanted to take. So here you can see year wise quarter sales you can see. Okay, 2021, what is that quarter? 2022. So it is not in order. See, 2021 quarter 1 is here and 2021 quarter 4 is here. You can just go here and sort it. Sort by what? You can sort it by year, and then here again you can make it as an ascending. Now you can see year wise. It is starting with 2020 quarter 2 and next 2020 quarter 3, 2020 quarter 4. Each year all the quarters you can see here based on the dates available, right? Based on the dates available, so it is falling under each quarter, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And now if you see for quarter 3, this is the sales, and whatever you are getting here, 69 lakhs 19,888, this value is nothing but in 2020 quarter 2 value. You can see here, right? That is why you are getting here. So why you are seeing null here? Because 2020 quarter 1 data you don't have. That is January, February, March. That 3 months data you don't have. That is why you are not getting here the quarter value. So for the same thing, even quarter on quarter growth percentage also you can calculate the similar way I have taught you. Even you have previous day function also. Let's see what is that. I'll create one more new measure, that is your previous day. I'll use this calculate function. Here I'm giving the total sales which I have already calculated that measure, and now I'll give this previous day function. In this I am going to pass the date table which I have created. I'll close this. I will also close the calculate function. So how to check this previous day? The same way I'm taking this table, and here I'm taking this date column. Okay, and I'll take my current sales and previous day sales now. Okay, now in this year wise I don't want to see the quarter. Each year wise, each month wise, for every single day starting from the transaction. Our first transaction date is 2nd April 2020, right? So from that date, so whatever you are seeing here is the 47,364 is the sales made on 3rd April 2020. And what is the previous day sales? 38,655. That is previous day is nothing but for 3rd April 2020. What is the previous day? 2nd April 2020. That sales only you are seeing here. Similarly, let's take any one value. For example, April 7th I am taking. 7th April 2020. What is my sales made on that day? 19,936.78. Okay. In the previous day sales, what is the sales made? 44,206. So how I am getting this value? From here, April 6th value I am able to see here that the previous day function will give this values. Okay. The same way how you are having for previous year, previous quarter, previous month, previous day, you also have for Next year, next day, next quarter, next month. How you will achieve that, we will see now. Okay. In the same measure, I'll try to create one new measure in the same table. That is next year sales. Okay. So in this, I will give the same function, calculate function. Here I'll take the total sales and I'm using this next day, next year sales. Okay, here next day, next month, next quarter, next year. So I'm taking next year and here I'm trying to pass the date column. That is our date table, date. I'm just closing this. I am also closing for calculate function. This is by next year sales. In the same way, if I want to create for the next month, for that also I can create the same way. I can use the calculate function. I can give the total sales and then I can give next month. In that next month I can pass the date column, that is date table, date column, and I'm closing the calculate function. Okay, next day, next year, next month I have created. Now how we can see the data, we will see now. I'm taking one table here. In this table I will take that date column, that is the date hierarchy. Directly I'm taking here. In this I'll take the next year sales. Okay, current sales as well as next year sales. Now quarter I don't want to show, month also I don't want to show, day I don't want to show. So year wise, if you see 2020, this is the sales. In the next year sales, whatever the value you are seeing, it is 2021 sales. See, this value and this value are matching, right? So next year sales you are seeing here. In the same way for 2021, this is the current sales and the next year sales, that is 2022 sales, you can see here. Okay. And for the 2022, this is the sales and the next year, that is 2023 sales, you are able to see here. This will give your next year sales. Okay. Now, similar to this, if you want to see the next month sales, what you can do, I will also drag and drop now the month as well here. Year and month. Now instead of next year sales, I'll take the next month sales, which I have already created. Now if you see here, 2020 year, for the April month, this is the sales. 11,39,000, this is the sales. And the next month sales is 31 lakhs 41,818. So what is this sales? It is the next month sales. That means 2020 May sales. If you see, this both will be equal. Okay. Now for 2020 November, let's take one random value. 2020 November. This is the November sales. And what is this? 52,94,252. It is nothing but your December, next month, that is 2020 December sales. So this value and this value both are same. Okay, so this is the use of your next month function. Okay, similar to next month, you also have next quarter and next day. Okay, so let's summarize what all the functions we have learned today. So we have learned how we can use the sum function, SUMX function. I'll write down here. So we have learned sum function as well as SUMX function, where and how to use. We have also learned how to use the calendar function as well as calendar auto. Also, we have learned about first date function as well as last date. Also how to use the measures, right? Difference between measure and calculated column. And we have also learnt previous year function, previous month function, previous quarter, and previous day. Okay. Also we have learned next year, next month, next quarter, next day. Also we have learned how to calculate the year on year growth percentage, month on month growth percentage, as well as about the divide function. Okay. So we will also be learning more functions in this playlist. So please do watch this space for more informative videos. Okay. So in the next sessions, in the next videos, we will be learning more tax functions. Okay. And I stopped here for next day, next year sales as well as the next month sales. Can you also create the measure for the next quarter sales and next day sales in the chat in the comment option? Thank you for watching this. Please do like, share and subscribe to KSR Datavizon YouTube channel.